Hi everybody, in this video I want to talk about how you can scale your business with digital marketing. Specifically, I want to talk to people who are working with or are uh, owning or leading seven-figure or larger businesses, and they're making money, they have revenue, but they just haven't really even touched or put their toe into the water much in terms of digital marketing. They haven't used social media, they haven't used ads, any of that stuff, SEO. They've just been late to the game because they've made their money through traditional methods, maybe cold calling, cold sales, referrals, and whatnot. And so, yes, while you are pretty late to the game, it's 2025, guys. You're like decades late. I think there's so much potential in this market, which is why people succeed. Now, if you aren't familiar with who I am, my name is Will, and I've been working 9+ years in agencies, full time in digital marketing. And I help people get their first or second jobs in digital marketing or as a digital marketing analyst. And I've worked in various different industries. Uh, Agency work is usually stressful and higher paced, but the benefit is you get uh, longer work hours, but also more experience. So I've seen all the different industries, everything from e-commerce to tech, software, healthcare, health and fitness, wellness, nonprofit, law, roofing, you name it, B2B manufacturing and SaaS. I could go on, but the point is, those are some of the main industries I've been working with, and I've learned a lot about scaling your digital marketing and revenue. So, what do I say? Here's some tips. First and foremost, just read the books by Alex Hormozy. You could also watch his YouTube videos, his podcasts, his other content. This guy seems pretty legit and has a lot of great advice. Now, there is some controversy. At one point, I think some people like Noah Kagan thought he wasn't as credible as he could have been. But from my experience, from what I've seen, he seems to be very legitimate. So if you want to improve your marketing, this is a guy who's credibly scaled many companies to $100 million, and therefore he has a lot of great things to say. Digital marketing is clearly one of his expertises. If you want the most concise packaging of how he succeeds, check out his books, especially his first book, $100 million Offer. That's how you really kind of kick it off. But rather than just punting the ball to him, I think, of course, you're here to hear someone else's opinion. Mine, maybe, just a normal guy, not someone who's like, too cool for school or whatnot. Not saying Hormozy is, but just like, I'm just a pretty relatable guy. I'm not, someone like super famous. So here's my thoughts on what you can do better. So first tip I would say is identify one marketing channel that you want to start with. Nowadays, there's so many different options, and you can get easily overwhelmed, and your budget and time can be spread too thin. Therefore, pick one that's most reliable for you and start with that one, stick with it for a while, and then see where it goes. If it starts working well, double down on it. If it doesn't, then you can try something else. You don't want to give up on it too soon, but you also don't want to hang on to it for too long before moving on to something else. At most, I would try 2 platforms at the same time. Now, which platforms do you try? That goes into my next tip. There's SEO, there's AI enhancements and automations and AI tools. You can literally build an app. Or there's the standard social media advertising. And then within that, there's different social media channels which have different audiences. So where do you start? Well, you start with where your audience is. Now, I would say an easy tip is you install Google Analytics, which is free. And then with that tool, once it's installed, you just place like a few lines of code, tracking code onto your site, work with your developer, site admin. It's pretty easy. And then once you get a few days of data going or more, you're going to be able to see in Google Analytics. Trust me, it's not hard. It's just a few steps. You can look up the steps online. But you'll be able to see in that tool where your traffic, your website traffic is coming from. Now, if you don't have a website, you should probably build one, and that's where you should drive people. And then you should have a clear call to action on the website that's pushing people to take action on something big that makes revenue. Whether that's just to become a lead, like a free consultation, jump on a call, free coaching call, whatever it is, you need that lead capture. And then you want to have that throughout the site, on the home page, on the contact page, various key points, so it's very prominent and very clear that this is what you want to do. But from there, once you start promoting your website however you can, in every way you can, you should be able to start seeing where people are coming from. Now, if you really have no traffic whatsoever, then it's still going to be peanuts. But let's just say you already have a decent amount of traffic, which I found a lot of companies, that's the situation they're at. They have traffic, but they don't know what to do with it, or they don't know how to double that or increase it. And the big thing here is identify where most of it's coming from. So in a lot of cases, what I find still to be a case is the number one traffic source for most people is still Google search. Some people are like, oh, SEO is dead. But here's the thing, a lot of traffic is still coming from search engines based off my data and analytics. Other gurus may say, oh, give up on SEO, it's dead, but I don't think completely it is. It's still the number one traffic source for many businesses. So when you find out what that is, it's likely going to be search engines, but you may be surprised. Maybe it's something else like Instagram. When you find that out, that's the channel you double down on. If it's SEO, then that's where you learn. You either build it in-house or you hire someone who knows what they're doing to succeed with SEO. If you hire someone, you want to screen them well, make sure they actually have good credentials and success, and they're convincing. If they're in-house or you're doing it yourself, you got to study what SEO is, how to learn the basics basically. And the good thing about digital marketing and SEO is there's so much free content that's actually very good and credible on the basic principles of what SEO is and how to use it successfully to succeed. Now, if you don't have that knowledge, go get it. A lot of the free articles and YouTube videos online are really good. If you want a more concise, streamlined way, spend 20 to 40 bucks on a course. And I found those courses to be very well created and very effective. I really don't think you need to buy like some of those courses that cost hundreds of dollars, because at least in this field, those smaller courses really do enough work, in my opinion. Now, if it's social media, then you want to double down on that. You want to start creating more and more content that brought the eyeballs, whether that's organic content or whether that is paid content. It's either Instagram ads or you're creating organic content, which is you're just creating content for free. It's not really free. I say that in air quotes because you're paying with your time and effort to produce this content. But either way you go, once again, there's so much available advice online to teach you how to use these tools, whether it's Instagram ads or organic Instagram content online. This field, I would say paying for courses is a bit more worth it because a lot of the free content and advice is, by the time you hear it, it's sometimes a bit stale, but still some of it's still very useful. So you've identified that one channel to start with, and then you really double down on spending the time and dollars to start fleshing it out and building it out. If you choose a good guru or an expert to teach you how to run Instagram ads and so forth, they'll lead you in a great direction so that you don't waste a bunch of money or time spinning your wheels trying to make this work because you don't know how. Now, what if you really are starting from scratch? Your site's getting zero traffic and you don't know what channel to start with. Well, I would say it really depends on your budget and where you're at. So it's hard to give you a custom solution until I really analyze and understand your budget and business. But I will tell you, having worked with probably over 100 different clients over my lifetime. And looking at the most recent few years, a lot of these clients usually are large businesses, and they usually end up getting recommended to start with SEO or one advertising platform. So this can either be a Google search ad or it could be a Facebook ad. Now, which one do you choose? I think it comes down to where your audience is going. Older audiences usually tend to be more on Facebook ads, and Facebook is a very effective medium. If it's a younger audience, probably more like Instagram is going to work for them. And then if it's more of like a informational product, educational, more of like a boring business, B2B, manufacturing, nonprofits, you're likely more going to be focused on search engines and optimizing search engines, either with SEO or Google Ads. Search engine SEO is more of a long-term play. It could take weeks to see the results of your efforts. Google Ads or any type of advertising, it's more instantaneous, but it's more expensive. You're going to have to be paying a lot for those ads. So if you have a higher budget, I would recommend starting with ads. It's more instantaneous, you get feedback loops quicker, and you can iterate very quickly. The ad platforms I recommend are right now the big ones that are most effective are Google Ads, Facebook ads, and Instagram ads. Other than that, the others are secondary. LinkedIn ads is secondary, but it's worth an honorable mention. As far as SEO and Google search engines and Bing search engines, that's a kind of a more budget play if you have a more limited budget, because you can just create a bunch of free articles without paying. But you're paying with your time and effort, and AI is going to help with that. But it is a bit of work to learn SEO and how to do keyword research and sprinkle the keywords in. Once again, take a course, watch some free videos, read some articles, learn SEO. But SEO is definitely another approach, especially if you're more of an informational, educational crowd. So that's my crash course on what I would do to scale a business in 2025. You're probably wondering, well, what about AI? What about all these AI things? Once again, check out those resources and courses and videos. AI has been already kind of infused into a lot of the teachings. So when it comes to SEO, there's SEO tools with AI now. And now you can just use AI purely like ChatGPT to write articles for you. But there's nuances. You still have to write in a natural way. You can't keyword stuff. Search engines look for and sometimes penalize AI-generated content. So there are things you have to kind of know the nuances for that you can learn. For advertising, a lot of the ad tool algorithms already have AI in them to help you best, optimize your ads and ad copy and ad imagery to get the best clicks. So you don't really have to worry too much about that. You can still certainly learn about all those things, but the fundamentals are still very important. A very strong offer, a really compelling piece of imagery or video, and great copywriting for the ad copy. So once again, all the fundamentals still apply. So thanks for watching this video. I wish I could go into a lot more detail, but these videos on YouTube are long but still short and punchy. I can't really go into extreme depth until I know the custom things about what you're doing. But I would generally say when it comes to starting to scale your results with digital marketing, I will conclude by saying that you really have to start by really building a strong foundation. Anyone can just splash a lot of money around and then scale it up and maybe get some leads and revenue. But it's so much better to have a core offer and core maybe ad that's already working before you start pouring the money or time on. And that's really the key that you want to get to. Have a fundamental knowledge about how these ad platforms work or how SEO works, and have a fundamental understanding of how you can tell what's working and what's not before you put gasoline on the fire. If you have a bunch of money, you can eventually spend it, but when you're just starting out, it's much more efficient and you get a higher return on investment by effectively using that money. So figure out what's working first, and then you can pour the money to get that fire burning really quickly. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like content like this. Leave a comment below if you have any requests for future videos. And if you're a digital marketer or aspiring digital marketer or marketing data analyst and you want to learn how to get your first or second job, I offer coaching on that. Reach out to me. Links are down below. You can join my email newsletter or reach out to me on social media platforms like Instagram and my website. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later.